Hey all, I'm Michelle Raza here with Finding Yourself SATX Life Coaching, where since 2017 we've helped our clients achieve success by helping them establish their personal vision statements, moving towards goals, and then most importantly, holding them accountable to these goals so that they can come out more successful and better on the other side, finding themselves. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We're going to continue our series on Melody Beattie's Codependent No More. You may see that this is a little fat right now because I actually have Dr. Gibson's Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents here. The two jive, and we're going to end up talking about both. So last video, we talked about Chapter 7, which is Setting Yourself Free. And today we're going to move on to Chapter 8, Removing the Victim. And we actually have two sections. We're going to break up this chapter into two sections, and then we'll move on to the next chapter. If you haven't had a chance, please do check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can see materials for purchase to start setting your personal vision statements. You can also request a free consultation, book a coaching session. I'm trying to think of everything else we have on there. Or just chat with us. You can send me an email or contact me. So that phone number there is both for voice and text messages. So thank you. And if these videos are helpful to you, please do like and subscribe. It really does help us little YouTubers and makes a difference in our life. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Whoops. That was my phone that just fell. Let me fix it. Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Okay, so removing the victim. So she starts out the chapter by saying that she was on a walk with a friend and just said, kind of, what is this thing, this one thing that makes codependence different and that we do over and over and that basically ruins our lives? And her friend says, we rescue. We're caretakers and we rescue. So then she says, what is a rescue? Rescuing and caretaking mean almost what they sound like. We rescue people from their responsibilities. We take care of people's responsibilities for them. Later, we get mad at them for what we've done. Then we feel used and sorry for ourselves. This is the pattern, the triangle. And so what she's referring to here, the triangle, that's why I have Dr. Gibson's book, it's called the Cartman drama triangle. Okay. So here's the Cartman drama triangle from Dr. Gibson's Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. So you have the aggressor or villain, the rescuer or hero, and then, I guess that's victim, right? The victim or innocent person. Okay? It's an unhealthy drama triangle. Hopefully I can keep the phone from falling. This is the pattern, the triangle. We rescue people from their responsibilities. We then take care of people's responsibilities for them. Later, we get mad at them for what we've done. Then we feel used and sorry for ourselves. This is the pattern, the triangle. Rescuing and caretaking are synonymous. Their definitions are closely connected to enabling. Enabling is therapeutic jargon that means a destructive form of helping. Any acts that help an alcoholic continue drinking, prevent the alcoholic from suffering consequences, or in any way make it easier for an alcoholic to continue drinking are considered enabling behaviors. As counselor Scott Eggleston says, we rescue anytime we take responsibility for another human being, for that person's thoughts, feelings, decisions, behaviors, growth, well-being, problems, or destiny. The following acts constitute rescuing or caretaking move. Doing something we really don't want to do. Saying yes when we mean no. doing something for someone, although that person is capable of doing that person is capable and should be doing it for him or herself. Meeting people's needs without being asked and before we've agreed to do so. Doing more than a fair share of work after our help is requested. Consistently giving more than we receive in a particular situation. Fixing people's feelings. Doing people's thinking for them. Speaking for another person. Suffering people's consequences for them. Solving people's problems for them. Putting more interest and activity into a joint effort than the other person does. Not asking for what we want, need, and desire. We rescue whenever we take care of other people. At the time we rescue or caretake, we may feel one or more of the following feelings. Discomfort and awkwardness about the other person's dilemma, urgency to do something, pity, guilt, saintliness, anxiety, extreme responsibility for that person or problem, fear, a sense of being forced or compelled to do something, mild or severe reluctance to do anything, more competency than the person we are helping, and she has the word helping in quotes, or occasional resentment at being put in this position. We also think the person we are taking care of is helpless and unable to do what we are doing for him or her. We feel needed temporarily. I am not referring to acts of love, kindness, compassion, and true helping, situations where our assistance is legitimately wanted and needed, and we want to give that assistance. These acts are the good stuff of life. Rescuing and caretaking isn't. Caretaking looks like a much friendlier act than it is. It requires incompetency on the part of the person being taken care of. We rescue victims, people who we believe are not capable of being responsible for themselves. The victims actually are capable of taking care of themselves, even though we and they don't admit it. Usually, our victims are just hanging around that corner of the triangle, waiting for us to make our move and jump on the triangle with them. Okay, so there's a lot more to this chapter, which is why I wanted to break it out into two sections. But for today, we will end with the first part of her activity. Activity 1. This assignment may take some time, but if caretaking is causing you your problems, it may be a breakthrough experience for you. On a sheet of paper, detail all the things you consider your responsibilities. Do this for your participation at work, with children, with friends, and with your spouse or lover. Now list detail by detail what responsibilities belong to the other people in your life. If any responsibilities are shared, list what percentage you think is appropriate for each person. For instance, if your spouse is working and you have chosen to be a homemaker and work part-time, list what percentage of the financial responsibilities you assume and what percentage of the household chores he or she assumes. You may be surprised at how much inappropriate responsibility you have taken on and how little you have allowed others to assume. You may also find you have been so busy with other people's business that you have been neglecting some of your true responsibilities. Now, the important thing about this assignment is if you do something as exhaustive as this and you are doing your fair share, not more than your fair share, not less, you're going to receive some validation that you're doing the right thing, not more, not less. So I think this exercise is really worthwhile for you to be able to assess in your life whether you're doing enough, too much, or too little. And as a codependent, you would typically be doing too much. You're taking on responsibility that doesn't belong to you, which is why you end up burned out, stressed out, and generally angry and unhappy with life. A classical definition of a codependent, right? You're in partnership with or married to somebody who is a chemically dependent person. And so you're picking up the slack every time that they decide that they don't want to be part of this life anymore and they check out for a few hours, whether it be with drugs or alcohol, then you're left holding the bag, right? You have to pick up the pieces. And so with time, you end up developing, so even if the chemically dependent person gets straight and stops drinking, you have this anger and resentment because you've been left holding the bag so many times. And essentially, if we take this back to Gottman's materials, your significant other has broken trust. So in his book, What Makes Love Last, he talks about trust and betrayal. So a relationship will be successful if there is trust, and it will break if there's betrayal. Simple as that. I mean, that's the book in 2 sentences. So as a codependent, having been betrayed again and again and again by the chemically dependent person, even if all of a sudden they stop drinking or they stop using drugs and they start paying some bills, you as the codependent are left with those lingering feelings of anger and resentment. And so that's why she wants us to study this triangle, right? We want to remove the victim here. So where we are doing more than our fair share, we want to stop. We want to stop because that allows the person who is not incompetent, they're fully competent, they need to pick up the slack. And so oftentimes we think that we're doing loving acts of kindness by what they say, padding the bottom, right? Not allowing that person to hit bottom. In the long run, you're hurting them because you allow those destructive cycles to keep going again and again and again. Whereas if they do hit the bottom, they're more likely to climb out. Statistically. I mean, that doesn't mean that your person will be better off. Every situation is unique and every person is unique. But statistically speaking, allowing them to hit bottom is the only way to help them actually get out of the situation. And by continuing to pad the bottom, you just prolong it. And in terms of being a codependent, right, you end up just feeling resentful and angry and hurt and constantly feeling the victim. So that's the drama triangle. So that's Cartman. The book is dated 1968. I just like that Dr. Gibson had the picture in here. And that's what Melody Beattie's talking about. So next time we will continue talking about Chapter 8. That's getting ready to remove the victim, working on removing the victim. So yeah, do this activity, really focus on it. And that way, when we come together next week and talk about the drama triangle, you can be talking about it from a place of self-study, right? You've already looked at yourself, what you're doing, and whether you're doing too much, too little, or just the right amount. So I hope you guys have a great week. Check out my website if you haven't had a chance. It's at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. And please do like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help us little YouTubers. So have a beautiful day. Spring is, I think, 2 weeks in San Antonio, and then it moves straight into summer. So now it feels like summer. My little girl plays soccer, and so we were out there, and I think last weekend I got completely burned. Not really. I mean, obviously I'm not super red or anything, but last weekend the sun was just too much. So this weekend we made sure to layer on that sunscreen. So I was commenting on the beautiful weather for a couple of weeks, but now we're in full force summer here in San Antonio. And it's basically like it gets hotter and hotter and hotter until we have our 2 weeks of winter. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Thanks for hanging out with me and spending time with me here today. If you have any questions about the materials that we're covering, please do send me an email. I love to engage with you guys. You can also just comment here on YouTube. I'm typically pretty good about responding on YouTube as well. So take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.